Everybody's favorite reality TV coach, Coach JB, Coach Jason Brown, got into a little bit of a snafu with old Mina Kimes, and now he's threatening to sue Mina Kimes and ESPN after getting exposed for not knowing anything about football. So let's go ahead and listen here. Mina Kimes.
Why are you defending this f***ing broad over and over, homie, when you know f***ing football?
What stood out about Drake May's game just so far here in year 2 for you?
I think he's become one of the best deep ball throwers in the entire NFL.
No doubt.
I mean, week after week after week now, he is, I think, first in completion percentage, second in completion percentage, first in QBR, and throws over 15 yards this year. And watching the Titans tape, I mean, all of his bombs were just beaten zone. I mean, the whole shot to Booty was versus quarters. How do you beat quarters? Go over the top. The whole shot to Mac Hollins versus cover 2.
She just said, how do you beat quarters?
All right.
Go over the top. So let's break this down, Mina, since you know so much.
There we go, JB.
Here's quarters, all right?
There we go, JB.
What quarters is?
Let's hear it.
Quarters.
Now, I want everybody to remember to not listen to what Coach JB is about to say, because I don't know if you know, Coach JB coaches no team. he don't got a team. He's just Coach JB because he used to coach in a reality TV show at a junior college, by the way. He was most famous for cussing at his players and getting in fights with referees and other coaches. So not really, what they like to call a football mind, right? But remember, everything he says, don't believe it. So go ahead.
The safeties are any number 2 vertical route runner man. That means it turns into cover 0. Okay? So if any number 2 receiver goes vertical, they take them. Now, if they don't go vertical, these 2 are at 8 yards and they're the run fitter. Guess who has over the top, Smitty?
Oh.
The corners. So how the fuck do you beat corners by throwing over the top, Mina? It doesn't happen. Actually, it's contrary to belief. The corners beater is getting any number 3 receiver to the flat. By definition, the 3rd receiver is what beats quarters, not the goddamn deep ball. Are you ESPN for allowing this motherfucker to go on your motherfucking channel? This false narrative rhetoric bullshit. Now quarters, you throw over the top, homie? You're on ESPN and you're lying to everybody. Why are you allowing this broad on your network that doesn't know shit? Holy man. And guess what, Smitty? Have you ever thrown a seam ball versus cover with one safety's in the fucking middle of the field? Have you ever seen a seam ball thrown in the middle of the fucking field so it's a pick and a knockout shot?
So, the quarters thing, hey, maybe he runs some JUCO quarters that we don't know about. But saying that you can't hit the seams on cover 3 is the nastiest thing I think I've ever heard. If you don't know what a seam route, because this is an over route. He just ripped, dog. He's crossing the face of the safety. So no, you wouldn't throw a seam almost posty route that runs directly at the safety. No, you wouldn't run that in cover 3. But you know what cover 3 is? Because we're going to explain what cover 4, but just so he knows, we're not going to get into cover 3. Cover 3 means 3 high coverage, right? That means your corner, and a deep safety, which or a closed field, right? Closed field or three-man coverage, right? Corners are going to take number 1, number 2, and deep, right? And then obviously your safety is going to stay in the middle of the field. That leaves your seams open. That's what I mean. I could tell a Madden player that. So obviously he has no idea what he's talking about. And everybody called out the fact, like everybody was calling him out. It said, at the risk of not getting this weirdo attention, did he just say not to attack the seam versus cover 3? This guy thinks you can't attack quarters vertically. So before we go any further, because we are going to have plenty of film instances here where they're going to show you quarter being beat here. So now it is going to give you, it looks like a 1 high safety. I think the safety is going to roll, right? So this is, all right, so boom. So when they get out of it, this is quarters. So this is quarters up here, but down here, you can see this corner is actually playing a different coverage. We're not going to get into the semantics of it, but regardless, what you have in quarters is 4 deep defensive backs, right? And you have an open field, not as open as a cover 2, but you do have an open field. That means the center of your field is going to be susceptible, but the right center here. So over the top, hitting posts, that's how you see cover 4 getting beat. And as you see here, who is this? This is a tight post here. Boom. This post does what? It gets into the center of the field, right? And that's where you go ahead and attack it, because this corner is going to have outside leverage. He doesn't have safety help, so he keeps his outside leverage, right? He forces everything inside. This safety is going to take the next man vertical, which that's the cover one he's talking about. So does he kind of know what he's talking about? I would hope so. I would hope that if you're going to be a fake coach on ESPN or on Netflix, you would know a little bit. So yes, he is true about this. You'll see in cover 4, a lot of times these safeties are going to be flat, right? They're going to be flat to where these defenders are going. They might jump a hitch or sit down or something like that because they don't want to get attacked right here in the middle of the field. So what you do is you pull the safety low, right? That's the reason why he's sitting. He is sitting here to keep this safety from getting more depth, right? And now I can hit you deep. Now I've opened it up now that I can hit you deep. But again, so you can't be quarters over the top. No wonder you don't coach anymore, you effing dunce. Now, I wish I could cuss more, but he cussed so much. I'm going to legit have to silence those out, because you can't cuss more on YouTube, but I don't think you can cuss like that in YouTube. So here it is. I want y'all to see he got a little bit upset and he threatened to sue right here. He says, leave Mina alone. And he says, F her now, it's on, damn near may sue her. So Mr. Likes to cuss women out, likes to cuss kids out, likes to cuss whatever out. He's getting a little upset and he might just sue, right? And of course, you see, she responded, I was told not to engage with her. And she didn't engage, right? He said, did Dan Orlovsky tell you to make me a sandwich? Stay out of my way, woman. You're a joke, respectfully. And of course, so, Coach Jay Brown, what's it called? JB, whatever you call it, Coaching Nowhere, has a lot to say about Mina Kimes, who's actually employed by ESPN, which, hey, we're not the big fans of ESPN over here, right? But at the same time, like, at least you got a job, Coach JB. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least, you feel me? At least people who actually play football at a high level respect her. Now, Dan Orlovsky is the mid protector. But I'm telling you, in levels to it, Mina Kimes is here. In reality TV, Coach Jason Brown is right down here. Now, I don't know if y'all know. I'm gonna show you something. He actually has me blocked. Me and Jason Brown go way back. Me and Coach Jason Brown go way back. But I just want to point something out because I made a video about this. So Coach Jason Brown, this is Brett Coleman. Y'all know how I feel about Brett Coleman. Other than his pure Shador Sanders bias and Deion Sanders bias, he does not like the Sanders family. Besides that, this is one of the OGs of football. He's trusted by the NFL. He does, coverage for the NFL. That's probably why he's anti-Deion Sanders. Regardless, even him, he's not even on Coach Jason Brown's side. Coach Jason Brown, the guy who was charged with 8 felonies for blackmail and identity theft after he posed as a lawyer to send fake cease and desist letters to media outlets that were reporting on the story where he texted a German football recruit that he was going to be his next, I can't say that, Kanye West. He was going to be his next Kanye West. That Coach Jason Brown, the one who got fired, that Jason Brown who can't get another job in coaching, that Jason Brown, yeah, it's that one. It's that one. And he's a bit of an idiot, and now he's going to sue. He's talking to, big Mark Sanchez guy now, right? Him and Mark Sanchez go way back. He doesn't care that Mark Sanchez, poked up an 80-year-old. That's the type of guy Jason Brown rocks with. And you know what? I'll rock with the fact that Jason Brown rocks with that. That's good. That's good. So, Mr. Coach Jason Brown will be suing Mina Kimes, will be suing ESPN. So we'll see what happens. I mean, these are the things that, dog, what do y'all be talking about over here? Badusi? Y'all. So Jason Brown wants to talk about Badusi alone. He wants to talk about loving on Mark Sanchez alone. That's how he gets into. He does not want to talk about, his fake lawsuits that he makes, the fake I get blackballed lawsuits, the, oh my God, nobody wants to give me a coaching job. Well, maybe if you learn what quarters is, huh? Maybe I can introduce you to a little website. Now I was just going through and I was like, how can I find the most basic way? Because look, Coach Brown, he's got a lot of, a lot of things to do. He's got a lot of videos to yell about, and he's got a lot of old head things to do. a lot of football to get wrong. So I wanted to make it very simple for Jason Brown, right? He's just learning this football thing. Great actor, great reality TV show. Hey, one of the best reality TV show coaches. But when it comes to actual coaching, he might need a little help. So really quick, let's just read some things. Who should use the quarters coverage? Quarters coverage, sometimes referred to as cover 4, because quarters, you got deep 4 quarters. Anyway, there's no limitation to whether it should be used by a 43 or 3-4. And Coach Brown, if you don't know, 4-3 means 4 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers. 3-4 means 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers. Are you okay? You got that, Jason Brown? Okay, cool. As mentioned before, it's also great to use against both the pass and the run, which makes it very versatile defensive coverage scheme. It's one of the main reasons why the quarters coverage is starting to be employed by defensive coaches on a more regular basis. Defenses that prefer to run either zone or man-to-man coverage will also benefit from running quarters coverage as well. Wow, if I can say it. The scheme isn't a better fit with one pass coverage. The scheme isn't a better fit with one pass coverage attacker than another. Strengths of the quarters coverage. Okay, so let's see where the strengths and the weaknesses of the quarters coverage are. Jason Brown, you make sure you're taking notes, right? Good against both the run and the pass. All right, so this makes the quarters coverage something that any defense could run or play. Coaches don't have to worry about swapping coverage schemes in certain down and distances, anticipating of a pass or a run. Gives players clear assignments. Quarters coverage simplifies the responsibilities for most defensive players on the field. More on this in a bit. Most players have a pretty easy time understanding what their responsibility is on every play, as they're assigned a simple zone on the field in which to cover or man to cover if he enters that zone. Doesn't take away blitz possibilities. And then the weaknesses of quarters. Safeties have a lot to do. Both the free and strong safety will need to read and react more so in quarters coverage than in other schemes. While they do too, we'll have a quarter of the field, right? Those are the 4 quarters, the 4 deep quarters that they're going to cover of the field. They're required to cover much more ground against the run. So, hey, Jason Brown, you did get that right. That is why you see, and I was referring to it as a flat look. You'll see the corners are going to be pressed back, but the safeties are actually going to be a little bit more. They're going to be even, and they're going to be a little bit closer to the ball because they have to play the run a lot quicker, and they have to take anything vertical, anything that sits in that zone. So if something comes and sits in that zone, they got to be able to react to that. Out of 4 wide receiver linemen, this could it can be susceptible to quick hitting plays, right? Can be susceptible to crossing routes. Coverage assignments will shift for cornerbacks, safeties, and linebackers as receivers run in and out of their zones. This can be challenges for defenders to keep up with. So savvy offenses coach will call patterns where receivers cross each other, maybe a post, into these other zones where someone might goes from one quarter to another quarter on a post route. This can be challenging for defenders to keep up. So how a prevent defense is run. Okay, so they're talking about prevent defense and everything else. So we got the linebackers. We got the secondary, quarters coverage, defensive line. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. Quarters coverage is the most complicated for the secondary, especially the safeties. Even still, the responsibilities aren't so difficult that youth players will have trouble learning the scheme. The cornerbacks will align themselves a few yards off the line of scrimmage, shading the outside wide receiver toward the inside. Okay, so this is actually inside leverage here. Wait, this looks a little different. This doesn't even look like true quarter. But anyway, this is done to try to force the receivers, who are often the top ones on the team, towards the outside with their routes, where there isn't as much room to run. Safeties will both line up on the outside hash marks, shading the inside shoulders of the 2 secondary wide receivers who are lined up slightly off the line of scrimmage. These 4 defenders will split the field into 4s or quarters, which is how the defense got its name. So I said wrong. I think I said they're playing outside leverage because they don't have safety help, but that's wrong. You play outside leverage when you do have safety help, because you play that inside leverage to try to force them to the outside because you don't have much help over the top. So I do have to correct myself. Hey, but I'm not a fake coach. So Coach JB, I hope you don't end up suing anybody. I hope that little debrief of quarters coverage. And if y'all want me to go deeper on some, schemes, I think we had a few videos where they specifically, hey, we're going to talk about actual football stuff. But hey, man, anytime that, Coach Jason Brown needs to freshen up, I'll be right there to help him. So y'all let me know if y'all need anything else. I like this video if you like it, dislike if you don't, subscribe if you like football content of all shapes, sizes, forms, and fashion. Continue to be great. We'll see you next time. Peace.